Hello everyone, welcome to Google Cloud Computing Foundation program. In today's live streaming program, we are going to have an introduction about this course. I'm Nidhi Shrimali and I'm one of the Google Cloud facilitator. Also, I'm quite active on a discussion forum to help you guys with your concerns and queries regarding Qwiklabs. So before getting started with how to complete the labs, how to start the lab, how to use Qwiklabs platform, what we will do is we will understand what this course is all about. And before understanding how to move ahead with the course, let's first sign in to the Swayam portal, and then we'll move ahead. We will move ahead with it. So let's get started. So what you have to do is you have to simply go to swayam.gov.in, and over here you will see sign in or register option. Please click on that. Okay. Now here you will have to provide your username and password, and once you do this you will be into the Swayam portal. So please sign into this, and I'll also sign in into my Swayam account. Okay, so we are in this course. I'll just click on my courses. Perfect. Go to course, and here you'll land on the course page, that is our Google Cloud Computing Foundation course. So this course actually is providing you the learning about Google Cloud platform services. In this course, the content is divided into 8 weeks, where you'll have various videos, various instructions to move ahead and understand those services. With videos and other contents, you are provided with some Qwiklabs lab, that are 26 Qwiklabs labs access are provided to you, so that you can have a practical hands-on practice on it. So let's move ahead and understand how to use the Swayam portal. Okay. So if you see, this is our actual course page. On the left hand side of your screen, you will find the course outline section. Currently we are in the week 4. So there you will find all the week courses, all the weeks that are covered till now. So you have to start the journey. We will be starting our journey from week 1, and here you will understand the basics of or the introduction to cloud, what is cloud computing, etc. Now what you will do is you will select each of okay, so what you will be doing is you'll go to week 1, you will select the first option of this, and then this is the video. So you'll just start by watching this video. In this video you'll find the content about that particular topic. So what you have to do is visit each video one by one and complete the learning part. Now once you are done with this, once you are done with watching the videos, and now you want to start your hands-on practice, so under this overview section for a particular week, you will see the lab name with the heading as with the labs appended over here. So what you will do is you'll simply click on this. So I have my first lab, that is use Cloud Shell with labs. So this is our first platform where you will find a link to go to the Qwiklabs portal. So what you will do is you will simply go to this. Under practical session, under practical section you will find that there are 2 labs. The first one is a tour of Qwiklabs and Google Cloud platform, and the second one is getting started with Cloud Shell and G Cloud. Okay, so I guess I have some sound issues, so I'll just check my settings. Okay, yeah. Sorry. So what you will do is you will simply click on practical section, and here you will find the lab option. Simply click on this lab option and it will redirect you to the Qwiklabs page. Now these labs are paid labs, that is you'll require something to access these labs. So for this thing we are providing you 35 access codes. So how you can request those codes? So if you see over here, you'll see this thing: to receive free access code, please fill this short form. So what you have to do is you have to simply click on this link and you have to submit this form. But make sure that before submitting the form, you are creating your account on Qwiklabs, and make sure you are submitting this form before today's midnight. Okay, so what we will do is we will start with our Qwiklabs, and then we'll move ahead with uh, how to create the Qwiklabs account section. So I'll just click on this. I'll close this thing. So once you click on this, it will take you to a introductory video page. So you can simply skip this video. So I'm skipping this video now. Now this is my Qwiklabs platform, and here, in order to move ahead with learning, you will either have to uh, uh, firstly create the account. If you already have your account, you'll have to sign in into it. So what we will do is we will consider all our audience, and I'll start by telling you how to create the account on Qwiklabs. So simply on the right hand side you will find a button called as join. So I'll click on join icon, and here you will have to fill this form. So you have to provide your first name, your last name, your email ID, your company name. Under company name, for the students, you can simply provide your college name, then provide the password, confirm the password, and do not forget to check this reCAPTCHA thing, that is, I am not a robot. Once you are done with this, what you'll do is you'll simply click on create a account. Now as soon as you do this, you will receive one confirmation email on your provided email ID. So you'll simply go to your mailbox, you'll confirm this account, and then you'll move ahead with signing in. So as I already have my account, I'll simply sign into my account. Okay, so for those who already have the account, what you will be doing is you will be clicking on this sign in option, and over here you will be providing your credentials. So I'll simply provide the credentials and I'll sign into my account. Perfect. Now you are on the first lab of this course, that is a tour of Qwiklabs and a Google Cloud platform. So this is a Qwiklabs portal. So let me introduce you to the Qwiklabs portal first. So Qwiklabs is actually a cloud learning website where you are provided with a live environment to have your hands-on practice. So you won't be provided with any simulated or any dummy platform, but you will be provided with actual GCP accounts which will be valid for a particular span. So this particular page is called as lab. Okay, so in this lab you will find the complete instructions how to complete this particular objective, and over here you can see there is a start lab button with the timer. So as soon as you click on the start lab button, you will get the credentials of your temporary GCP account where you will be performing this particular practical. Now we know that this is the lab. If I scroll the page, I'll get the complete instruction. If I click on start lab button, I'll get the credentials. Now there is a outline section also provided for you, which focuses on what all topics we are going to cover in this particular lab. So if you see, this is a exploration lab only. So here you do not need to perform anything. What you need to do is you simply need to sign into your Google Cloud account, and you need to see how this Google Cloud account looks like, how I can start, how I can use the services, where all the services are situated. So all these things you will be learning in this particular section. So what we will do is we will start with this lab. If you see, this lab is free, so you will not require any credit or any access code to launch this lab. But for rest of the labs, those labs are paid labs. That is, you'll have to provide some credits or access code in order to start that lab. So what we have done is, those who have submitted the form, we have provided you 35 access codes so that you can easily move ahead with the labs. So where you can find this particular where you can check if the access codes are assigned to you or not. So what you will do is, you will simply click on your profile icon. Over here you will find this 0 credits, or if you have more than that, no worries, simply click on it. And here you will see that you have 35 access code in your account. So if you have this, you are ready to move ahead with the labs. And if you do not have it, please ping us on discussion forum, but make sure that you are filling up the form first. So I guess we all are okay till now. So let's get started with our lab. So what is the first section? So in the overview section of the lab, you will find the description about that particular lab. So here, as everyone is new to Google Cloud Platform who are registered into this course, so what this Google Cloud Platform is about, what is its use, everything is provided over here. Now, if you go here, the prerequisites are also provided, that if you are performing any advanced level lab, so what knowledge is expected, you can see over here. So as this is the introductory lab, you do not need to have any prerequisite knowledge about this GCP platform, because this will be your base to complete all other labs. Okay, so what we will be doing is, we will be starting this from Qwiklabs Fundamental. So in Qwiklabs Fundamental, the first component is this Start Lab button. So as soon as you start the lab, you will see the credentials of your temporary GCP account. With this, you can see there is a timer as well. So this timer indicates that the particular credentials will be valid for this time span. That is, if I click on Start Lab button, my credentials will be valid for 45 minutes. Okay. Now, once we are done with this, what you can see is what is Start Lab button, what is credit, what is time, what is score. So in this lab, you do not have the scoreboard associated here, but in other labs you will find one scoreboard as well. So that scoreboard actually is used to check what is if it is an activity tracking. It is tracking your whatever you are doing in the lab, and if you are performing all the steps as given in the lab, you will be graded according to it. So now let's start this lab, and we'll move ahead and we'll discuss the other points one by one. So I'll simply click on the Start Lab button, and here are my credentials. So if you see, the lab has started, the green button has changed to red End Lab button, and my timer is ticking. With this, there is one Open Google Console button. So once you click on this button, it will take you to GCP platform, and here are the credentials for you to sign in into that account. So username and password will be your credentials, and the third one is GCP Project ID. So project ID we will be discussing ahead, but I'll just provide you a rough idea. So whatever resources you are creating in GCP will reside under a particular project, and those projects will be indicated by this particular project ID. So each project will have a unique project ID with which it will be recognized. So let's get started, and we'll click on Open Google Console, and we'll sign into our portal. That is, we'll sign into our temporary GCP account. So I'm copying my username, I'm copying my password. Perfect. Now here it will ask you for accepting some terms and services. So simply click on accept. The next thing it will ask you is protect your account. So as this is a temporary account, you do not need to provide any recovery phone number or recovery email ID. Simply click on confirm. And the last thing that it will pop up is, it will pop up terms of services page where you simply have to click on I agree, and continue. And you will be on the GCP page. So here is your GCP page where you will be exploring, where you will be using the services to understand and move ahead. So let's move ahead with this. So this is my GCP page. If you see, this is my home page where I have dashboard with project information, that as I mentioned earlier, that whenever we talk about GCP resources, all those resources will be residing under a particular project, and that project will have a particular name, particular ID and a particular number. So with this you can see some dashboards available over here which will provide the APIs and the resources that are launched. Everything you can see it on your home page. Now the second thing that you will see over here is this navigation menu that is on the left hand side of your screen. So this navigation menu will provide all the services that are available with Google Cloud Platform. So for example, if I want to create any virtual machine, so I can simply go to the navigation menu, I'll go to this compute section, and under this there is a compute engine. I'll select VM instances, and here is my VM instances page. So this navigation menu will help you find the services. Now let's move ahead and see this section. So here we have our first test your understanding question. This builds a temporary environment in GCP. So which of the following will provide you a temporary GCP account is what it is trying to ask. So a start lab button, a score, credit or time. So whenever you click on start lab button, it provides you the credentials, that is temporary credentials of your GCP account. So we'll simply use start lab and submit. Correct. Now the second thing is, the second question that we have is, once the timer reaches 00:00:00, you will lose access to your temporary GCP environment. So this timer is ticking, that is your account is valid till that point. Once the timer is 0, your account will be deleted, all its resources will be deleted, and you will lose the access to that account. So this statement is true. The third question is, some labs have tracking which scores your completion of hands-on lab activities. So for, as I said, that this lab does not have the scoring scoreboard with it, but for most of the labs there is a scoreboard associated. So that scoreboard decides your completion status of the lab. So this statement is true. So in this case, what you will be doing is, you will be reading the instruction first, then you will be starting the lab and moving ahead with your practicals. So as I'm explaining you everything, so I'm not reading those out, I'm just explaining you how to use this console. So our last question is, in order to receive completion credits for a lab that has tracking, you must complete the required hands-on lab activities. So as I said, that the scoring board is completely focusing on the parameters, on the instructions given in the lab. So you'll have to complete the whole lab, and then only you will get the marks and you'll be able to complete that lab. So this statement is true. Now we have completed, we have gone through the introduction to Qwiklabs. The second is accessing the GCP console. That is, we have logged into our GCP console, that is, we know how to access our GCP platform. So we are good with this. So we'll just move ahead and we'll check if there is any question for us to answer. So yes, we have this test your understanding section in this as well. So the first question is, what field is not found in connection details panel? So this particular section is called as connection detail panel, and over here you can see there is open Google Console, username, password and project ID. So which of this field is not a part of connection details panel? So it is, password is there, open Google Console is available, GCP project ID is available, We will click on system admin as there is nothing system admin mentioned over here. So let's submit it. The next question is the user in connection detail panel, which resembles Google student at Qwiklabs.net, is a GCP IAM identity. So whenever let's understand what is IAM identities first. So whenever you want to perform any particular action on this GCP account, you need to have that permission, and that permission is handled by IAM service, that is identity and access management service. So what you will be doing is you will be simply choosing the email ID and you will be providing the access to it. So those email IDs are termed as identity. So is this particular and GCP IAM identity? So yes, this is a GCP IAM identity, so this is true. Now the next section is projects in GCP. So what is projects in GCP? So as I said that it is an entity which holds all your resources, all your services that you will be launching for your particular application. So this project will have some project information like project name, project ID and project number. So project name and so let's see. We have a test your understanding section under this. So here we have our first question: an organizing entity for anything you build with a Google Cloud platform. So anything that holds, that organizes all your resources is project. So it will be GCP project, because password is not an entity that holds anything. Username, it is just a credential to enter to your GCP account. And storage bucket is one of the services used to hold the data, used to store some data. So that is not the thing. What we do is we use GCP project to store all our resources, to manage all our resources. Perfect. Now the second question is Qwiklabs resources is shared with all Qwiklabs users, meaning you won't be able to delete or modify it. So this resources is provided to you for read-only access. You cannot make any modifications. That is, you just are provided with a particular scope and you have to follow that path only. So yes, the statement is true that you cannot delete or modify the resources unless and until it is specified in a particular lab. Now the last question for this section is Qwiklabs resources is the project where you run all resources, is a project where you run all your lab steps. So guys, this is not the correct statement, because what we do is our project is handling the resources. Okay, we are executing, we are launching our resources into a project, not project into a resource. So this statement should be false. Okay. Now the next is navigation menu and services. That is this part that we talked about, that navigation menu. So what we have to do is we'll see that all the services that are available with GCP are mentioned in this navigation menu. So either it can be a compute service which will provide you all the compute options available, or if you want to have a storage services, all the storage services will be under this section. For networking thing, you will find everything under networking section, and there are many others. So then comes the roles and permission section. So whenever we talk about roles and permission, we always talk about IAM. Okay, so we have discussed that what we do is whenever I am talking that I want to provide someone an access to a particular resource so that he can access that particular launch that particular resources. So I am providing him a particular role. So these roles are divided into various types. So if you see, the member will be an identity. Either it can be your email address, or if you have any service account, you can provide it over here. So the member will be your identity, and for that particular identity you will find a particular role. Now this roles, there are some primitive roles that are viewer, editor and owner. So anyone who is having a viewer role, so he can view all the GCP resources under that particular project. If anyone is having an editor role, what he can do is he can view all the resources and can modify them, like can change those existing resources. And the owner, per person who is having the owner access, he can manage all the resources. With this he is he can also set up a billing for that particular project. So what does this particular statement means? So whenever you are launching any resource, obviously you will be charged for it, correct? So handling that billing part is a concern that will be done by owner. Okay, so let's move ahead and see if we are able to answer some of these questions. Offer quick access to the platform's service and also outlines its offering. So which of this option will provide you all the services? Compute. Under compute you will find only compute options. We are talking about all the platform services. Stack driver, you will find the services related to stack driver. Networking, you will find the services related to networking only. But all the services are outlined under a navigation menu. So perfect. Now primitive roles are project level permission, and unless and otherwise specified, they control access and management to all GCP services. So as I said, this primitive roles are binded to a project level and are for all the GCP services. So primitive roles, this statement is true. Now the next question is, provide all viewer permission plus permission for actions that modify states such as changing existing resources. So as we saw that we have three primitive rules. The first one is viewer, second one is editor and the third one is owner. So viewer will provide me only view access, editor will provide me view plus modification access. So the answer should be editor rule. Now here is the next section, that is API and services. So whenever we talk about APIs, that is application programming interface. So whenever you are launching any resources, whenever you are using any resources directly or indirectly, you are calling an API for that. So what Qwiklabs does is, if you want to perform a particular lab, let's suppose that you want to start with creating a virtual machine. So for that you'll require some API access. So Qwiklabs by default enable those APIs for you. So you do not need to enable those APIs. But if you are performing, if you are using your own GCP account and you are starting from scratch, at that moment you will have to enable some of the required APIs to move ahead with your launching of the resources. So where can you find all these APIs? So what you will be doing is, you will simply click on this navigation menu and over here you will see API and services option. Under this you will have a library and here you will find more than 200 APIs, Google APIs that are available for your use. So I'll just show you one of the Dialogflow API. So what I'll do is, I'll see if how to use the API. So I have this Dialogflow API with me. I'll click on this Dialogflow API, and if you see here, you'll find that there is an enable option. So as soon as I click on this enable option, it will enable that API for me and I'll be able to use this Dialogflow. Okay. Now once this is enabled, I'm just waiting so that it can enable the API, so I can show you how it will look once it is enabled. So see guys, if you see here, you can see the disable API. So it means that the API is enabled for us. And if I go back and I search API enabled with a green tick, that means this API is enabled and you can use this particular service. So this was about API section. So I'm just providing, it is providing you an overview about the different parts of this console. After this lab, we have the lab for a particular service which will completely concentrate on that particular service only. So the question over here is, when you start a lab in Qwiklabs, you need to enable APIs in your GCP project to start working with GCP. So what Qwiklabs does for you is, it enables all the required API so as to avoid all the work from scratch. You can just focus on your objective. So this statement is false. It already enables the API for you. Now there is another section called as Cloud Shell. So whenever we talk about GCP, you can access this resources, you can launch this resources, you can handle this platform in different ways. You can use the GUI way, that is a graphic way, by simply clicking on the navigation menu. But when it comes to a developer friendly way, that is a command line interface, we provide you a command line interface is provided with a console called as Cloud Shell. So you will find this Cloud Shell button next to this search bar. So this will be the command prompt for you, where you will be entering the commands in order to interact with your GCP services. So simply click on continue, and you will see a black color screen where you can execute the commands to interact to launch your different resources. So we have discussed the GUI way, we have discussed the CLI way, that is using the Cloud Shell. There are various client libraries available. So if you want to use those client libraries, you can use those as well for your programmatic access and move ahead with the launching of the resource. So now if this is simply a console with me, whenever you are working on a Cloud Shell, please make sure that this particular project is selected. That is, you have a yellow text on your console. If you do not have this, simply run the command, that is gcloud config set project, and after this provide this project ID, paste this project ID, and this command will set the project ID for your Cloud Shell. So if you are unable, as you are newcomers and you are unable to remember this command, no need to worry. This command is already provided on the, whenever you start the Cloud Shell, it will be provided on the top of your screen, so you can use it to move ahead. Now let's do one thing. What we will be doing is, we will simply create here it is whenever you want to whenever we talk about using any CLI, what we do is we simply focus on commands. So there are various Linux commands that are already supported by this. So we will be discussing about Cloud Shell in the next lab in very detail. So let's move ahead and wrap up this lab so that we can start with the next lab. So how you will do is, once you are completed with the lab, first thing you will do is, you will sign out from your GCP account. So simply sign out from this GCP account, leave, close this tab, and now click on end lab button. Make sure that you are ending the lab before going back to your SWAYAM portal and starting the new lab, because if you do not end this lab, you won't be able to start the next lab. So simply click on end lab button and OK. Here you can provide the feedback about the lab. So I'll say good and done. So we are done with the first lab. Now let's go back and let's complete our second lab for the day. That is about regarding getting started with Cloud Shell and gcloud. So what you will do is, once you are done with the first lab, go back to your SWAYAM portal, come to this section, check if you have any other lab to complete. So if you see, there are 2 labs mentioned over here. The second lab is getting started with Cloud Shell and gcloud. Simply click on this link and we can move ahead with this lab. So in this lab is about the Cloud Shell and gcloud, that is the CLI window for using the GCP resources. So this is our lab page, and if you see on this page, you have a scoreboard associated over here. So this scoreboard will help you to check if you're performing the steps as given in the lab itself. So in order to mark this lab as complete, in order to complete this lab, you have to make sure that you are getting 100 out of 100. And to achieve this score, you do not need to worry, you just need to follow all the instructions given in the lab. Now what you will do is, firstly, as we are bounded with a time limitation, so what we will do is, I'll just explain you the lab, but when you will start this lab, what you will do, you will firstly read the complete lab, you will understand each and every component of this lab, and then you will start the lab. Okay, so this will save your time and it will help you manage the time accordingly. So what is the target of this lab? So here we have to create a virtual machine with a G cloud. So let's move ahead and let's start with this. So I'll simply click on start lab button, and if you see here, it is showing me one pop-up. So this is because the previous lab was free, but this lab is for 1 credits, that is, this is a paid lab. So to take this lab, either you'll require some credits or you'll require some access codes. So we, as a part of this program, as a part of Google Cloud Computing Foundation course, we will be providing you 35 access codes to launch this labs. So what you have to do is, you simply have to fill up the form. Once the access codes are provided, you simply need to click on start lab button, and you will use launch with access code, because over here if you see, the access code is already filled up for you. So I'll simply click on launch with access code, and I'll be able to start the lab, and I have my credentials with me. If you see, this is my connection detail panel, and here is a student resource section where some videos are provided. So read the instruction, go through the video, watch that video, and then you can move ahead with the lab part. So let's do one thing, we'll start with this lab, and the simple things, what you will do is, you will simply click on open Google Console, you will sign into your account, and here you can move ahead with the lab. So for each lab, you will be provided with a new temporary GCP account, which will be valid for a particular span of time, and you will be using that account to complete this lab. So confirm. Perfect. So in every lab, you will have this overview section where what is Cloud Shell, what is the use of cloud, where you will find what is the use, what is that particular service does, what is the use of that service, where the complete detail about that service will be provided. Under setup section, you are provided with the instructions how to start the lab. So as we have completed the first lab, we know that we need to click on start lab button, we need to click on open Google Console, then we just have to provide the credentials and we can move ahead. So we will skip this part, and then we'll start with the start Cloud Shell section. So just agree to the terms and conditions, and I'll start my Cloud Shell. So whenever you need to start the Cloud Shell, just remember one thing, that my Cloud Shell icon is situated to the next to the search bar icon on the top right corner, that is activate Cloud Shell option. Simply click on this option, click on continue, and this is available for you. So I'll just maximize it so that you can see. Now this Cloud Shell is actually a virtual machine. So whenever you are launching any Cloud Shell, in the background there is a virtual machine which have some particular storage, which has some particular operating system it is working on. So this particular Cloud Shell, has is using a Debian Linux GNU operating system. With this, it has 5 GB of persistent storage, so that you can store your required files and programs. With this, there are various SDKs that are already downloaded for you. So if you do not need to worry about it, if you want to take a clone of something, so will I have to install Git into it, or if I want to use any text editor, so should I install text editor on it? So you do not need to worry about it. Many SDKs are already downloaded, already installed under this particular Cloud Shell. You can simply move ahead by using it. Now, whenever we talk about any resources under this, whenever we talk about any resources under launching the resources under GCP, there comes a part of region and zone, that is in what particular region or in what particular geographical location you want to store that particular resource, or you want to launch that particular resource. So for that you have to specify some commands that you will be learning in this. So the first command is, if I need to check the complete information about my project, so here is the command, that is gcloud compute project info describe and then -- project and your project ID. So what you will be doing is, you will be simply copying this command and you will be pasting it into the Cloud Shell. Now many times we have seen that users are quite worried, should we copy paste the command or should we type the command? So it's up to you. If you want to copy paste the command, please move ahead with it. If you are typing the commands, please make sure that you are not making any typos, otherwise you will face the errors. So if you see, this will provide me the project description. So here I'll have to provide the project ID, what project ID, what uh, ID I want to check. So I'll simply remove this complete section. So whenever you are seeing anything in this, that is anything under your project ID and it is specified to replace it, please replace it and specify the required field. So here I have to specify my project ID, and if I enter, it will show me the complete description about my project, what everything is available, what is the current zone, what is the default region, everything is provided under this. So our objective is to firstly create a virtual machine using gcloud. So till now we have discussed about Cloud Shell. Now what is this gcloud all about? So gcloud is a special command line tool to deal with all the GCP services. So if you want to launch, if you want to interact with your GCP services, you will be using the SDK called as gcloud. So now let's create an environment variables. So just like other as you create the variables, you can create the variables in this Cloud Shell as well. So to create a variable, you use a, I'll just clear this so that it is easy to weave. Okay. So if you want to create any variable, you simply specify a keyword, that is export, and then you will be specifying the name of the variable in uppercase. So I'll just use this project ID equals to, and over here I have to provide the project ID, that is I need to replace your project ID with the project ID of the lab. So I'll simply copy this project ID and I'll paste it over here. So what you can do is, you also have another approach. You can simply click on this clipboard icon, you can copy this and you can paste it and then remove it and then specify your project ID. So it's up to you how you want to move ahead. Now the second thing I need to do is, I need to specify the zone. So whatever zones, in what zone I need to create my particular virtual machine. So here for that I am specifying the zone. So what you can do is, simply copy this and you can choose any zone. So I'll just choose the simplest one, the US Central 1A. So I'm using this zone to create my VM instance in this. So till now we have simply created the variables. Now if you want to check if what is the value stored in this particular variable, so you will use echo, that will be used to print something. Then use dollar sign and just specify your environment variable name. So it will simply provide you the value that is stored under this particular variable. So if you see, project ID is holding the project ID of my this account, and if I echo dollar zone, it will provide the zone that I have specified. So please, whenever you are specifying the variables, please make sure that you are providing the correct value and then move ahead with it. Now I need to create a virtual machine using this gcloud command. So here is the command, that is gcloud compute instances create GCE lab 2 machine type n1 standard 2 zone, and then there is the zone specified over here. So gcloud, that is our SDK, compute, that is the compute option. I want to create a compute resource. Under that I want to create VM instance, so I have specifying instances. Then what action do you need to perform? Do you want to delete it or do you want to create it? So I want to create a VM instance, so I am specifying create. Then the name of my VM instance, what machine type do I want, what should be the zone I am specifying, and here the zone I am using the environment variable. So I'll simply copy this command and I'll paste it over here, and if you see, within 30 seconds I'll have my VM machine ready to use. So if yes, so if you see over here, it is saying that this is done. I'll just go and I'll show you whether it is available. So if you see, under UI section also this GCE lab 2 VM instance is available. So we have completed our first section. Now after, in this score bar, once you complete this particular section, you will find a check my progress. So this check my progress will help you find whether you are able to complete the that particular section correctly or not. So simply click on this check my progress button and it will show you a green tick. If you are unable to get the green tick, if you are getting any red color message, don't worry. What you will be doing is, you will first check what if there is any mistake there is any mistake while performing the instructions, or if you need any help, you can simply use this chat option and you can connect with the Qwiklabs support team to help you with this particular lab. Now as I have completed, I have 100 out of 100 score. With this, after this also there are various commands provided to you. So the whenever we interact with the learners, we find this question that we are unable to understand the commands or how to understand the parameters given in the command. So what you can do is, you can simply use the help feature. So what does that mean? So suppose if I want to check what are the options available with gcloud, so what I'll do is, I'll simply use gcloud and I'll use --help, and it will provide me all the parameters that are available with this particular command. So in this way you can see what flags, what description, complete description of that particular command. So for example, let's see that what parameters are associated with creating an instance. So I'll just use gcloud compute instance create and --help, and it will show me that you can specify the accelerator, then boot disk, then you can specify the labels, you can specify the machine type that we have used, etc. So no need to worry, you will simply use the help feature to understand the command and move ahead with it. Now if you want to now suppose you want to see the configuration list, if you want to find out the configuration list in your environment. So for that we have a particular command that is called as gcloud config list. So what you'll do is, you'll execute this command and you will get all the configurations that are set. So this is the list of true elements that are set for us. If I want to check all the elements, all the properties, what other properties are set, so I'll simply use this command and I'll use all, that is hyphen hyphen all in front of it. So if you see everything, all the set and unset fields are available over here. So this you can see the configurations. Now if you want to list the components, you can simply use gcloud components list and it will provide you the list of all the components. So if you see that what are updates are available, what things are not installed, what are installed, all the component detail will be provided over here. Now suppose if you want to install any beta component, so what is the command? So the command will be like gcloud components install and beta. In the same way, so I'll just use this, and so what it will do is it will update all the components, it will install all the components, beta components for me. Now if you want to use the interactive mode, so for interactive mode you can use this gcloud interactive, gcloud beta interactive to move ahead. So I'll just show you how to use this gcloud beta interactive. So over here you can see that the interactive shell is ready to use. Now you can use this to move ahead. Now as so if you want to open something, so suppose let's check if so I'll just paste this command, and if you see over here, you can see the as I have established an interactive mode, the description is already provided to me. What should be the syntax, what should be this so what should come after this particular. So after this I want the instance name. So if I use GCE lab 2 that I just created, so yeah, it is providing me the command, and if I use this enter, and it will provide me that do you want no, and I'll just choose the zone that I've used. And if you see, everything regarding my particular VM instance is provided over here. So if you want to have an interactive mode where you want to check what all options are available or not, you can move ahead with this. So now just like this compute, if you want to SSH into your system, if you want to check how to interact with your system, you can do is you can simply click on this SSH option, or what you can do is you can use the command line mode. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll just show you one. Okay, no worries, I'll just open another shell. So okay, so I just closed that one. So what we have to do is I want to SSH into my console. So okay, so now I'll SSH into my particular VM. So if I'm executing this command, I can SSH. I'll just have to provide gcloud compute SSH, then my name, and after that Y, and here I am. So you can SSH as well. So all the tasks that you can perform using UI approach, you can use via this thing. So if you see, I am under GCE lab 2, and if I want to create, I can move ahead with accessing this particular VM machine. Now if you want, these are some basic commands. If you want to go to the home directory, how to you'll do it. So suppose I'll simply click on exit, and if I want to go to the home directory, I'll click CD and home, and I'll be on that directory. So here is a question for us. 3 basic ways to interact with GCP services and resources. So what are the ways with which we can interact with our GCP resources? So the first is GStreamer, then command line interface, G libraries, GCP console and client libraries. So as we discussed this in the previous section as well, that we have three options: command line interface, GCP console and client libraries available with us. So simply click on submit and done. So here we are done with our second lab for the day, and as you see, I have 100 out of 100 score. That means that I have completed this lab correctly. So before ending the lab, firstly sign out from your console, leave, close this tab and then click on end lab button. So here we have completed the two labs. Now if you have any questions, any doubts, you are facing any issue regarding this course, what you can do is, there is a ask a question section. Simply go to this ask a question section, and over here you can submit your question, and we will help you to move ahead with this. So here we have completed the two labs. Now there are 11 labs till week 4. So what you will be doing is, you will be starting with the next labs. You will be completing each of this labs. You will be completing each of this items given in the week one by one, and completing the labs accordingly. Now okay, after this once we are so till now we are done with this. I hope this streaming session was useful for you. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you know that you can ask it on a discussion forum. For those who have not requested or those who have not received the credits, please simply what you have to do is, you simply have to uh, submit the form to request the Qwiklabs credits, and you'll able to get that. uh, Now uh, I see some of the questions that are asked by pinged by a few of the joiners. So some of you are having the issue that where can we find the form to submit to request for the Qwiklabs credits. So you can see this form either on the lab page itself. It is specified on the first lab page itself that fill up this form. You need to fill this form before today's midnight, so that you can get the access, you can get the free credits. Then the second question that I can see over here is, can you get can you get into the overview of the process of running a lab? So yes, we have provided in this today's session, we have provided you a complete overview of how to complete the lab, so you can refer to this. Now there is one question, which is a good practice to learn Qwiklabs when it comes to executing the commands. Should I copy paste the commands or type it manually? So see guys, it's up to you. What you have to do is, I'll just provide you what is the best approach to learn on Qwiklabs. Whenever you are in a particular lab, what you'll do is, you will, before starting the lab, just go through that lab, read it once, read it thoroughly. Once you are done with reading it, once you've understood it, now you can start the lab. Now if you want to execute the commands, you can use the copy paste icon, that is the clipboard icon available. But if you are typing it manually, please make sure that you are not making any typo mistakes. Okay, so there are various the next question is, there are various commands given in the lab. How to understand each component of those commands? So as I said, you can use --help. It will provide you a complete description. You can use the interactive mode to help you move ahead with that particular command. So just complete this section, and you will be as you complete the labs, you will be handy to it, and you will be able to understand how to move ahead with it. So due to the time limitations, we have covered a few questions here. The remaining questions, don't worry. What we will do is we will just post a consolidated reply so that you can refer to those and you will get the answers of all your questions that you have posted. We will be conducting such live streaming videos in future as well. So if any of your fellow mate is facing any issue, please guide them to this live streaming videos so that they can refer to these videos and move ahead with it. So I'll wind up my session over here. Thank you for attending this session. uh, Stay safe, enjoy learning, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.